normal Zerg opening. Oh my god, look at this drone as well. This drone has got in here totally unscouted so far, even knows where to wait, and it's like,
what? The beast cancel for a spine. Wow.
Oh, okay. This is all... I haven't seen this done before, but he totally knew where the Overlord was going to be, I swear, and how Reynor scouts. And this, using the hatchery to make the creep, to then make the spine crawler. Granted, the spine crawler is going to be losing health as it's building, but it's still going to be a fully operational spine crawler.
It's gonna be 65% or so HP, or even a little bit lower. Like, trust me, Ben. Like, this is a rare strategy, but it is the kind of thing that I love to experiment with. And Reynor's actually gonna spot it. But yeah, here we go. It's a spine, nearly at 65% HP, and it's perfectly positioned to where the creep of Reynor will actually extend to it. So that is the brilliance of Serral. He's already accounted for the perfect position where the spine doesn't get spotted, but the creep ends up covering it without it having to reroute, without it having to uproot, rather. So a really cool move here from Serral. Really innovative, which is, it's amazing to see.
This is super cool. I mean, Serral has to get damage done. He really does. He's getting a hatchery himself behind this. Reynor currently isn't mining at all, which is a massive deal. Like, the income tab must be so much in Reynor's, or rather Serral's favor. And Reynor tries to take a fight. He's going for the spine crawler as well. And
as he should.
Serral's trying to keep it alive. It is staying alive. Oh my goodness. The Queen will get it.
The Queen will get it. The Queen will get it. No, the Queen does get it with his last shot. Still, a lot of drones are falling to these Zerglings, and Reynor will have to tap out Serral. Beastly cheeky smile there from Reynor.
So far, we're seeing very mirrored play by both of these bad boys. Like, the Baneling Nest came down pretty much at the same time, same expos and stuff. This, obviously, a very different start to game one, where whatever happens, Blackburn is a pretty difficult map to engage on, pretty difficult map to, just kind of barrel down your opponent. It's a good defensive map. We're going to see a very different ZVZ here.
Yeah, it's even a little bit surprising that both players are choosing to go for the Banelings here, because there isn't that many avenues to make Baneling attacks work, right? Like, there is the third that's pretty tucked far away, and there is a ramp leading into the natural that is wallable with just 3 buildings pretty easily. So again, Ling Bane, usually not super effective. I expect both players will be kind of just like passive here, like you were saying, like just continue to mirror each other. They are continuing to drone up indeed. And we should see somewhat of a transition here, as Reynor will show a bunch of links, will force Serral to morph 1 additional Baneling, as they are not perfectly synced up, those 2 Banelings. And yeah, we're just going to see the rest of the transition here, as Serral gets a good scout.
We're seeing Reynor with a lot of workers, taking a lot of gases as well, and a Spire on the way here. And Serral already making quite a few roaches here. Now, I'm really wondering if he's just thinking, all right, I'm going to keep on making roaches. I haven't seen any extra drones on the way, but they've both been just sending little lings here and there just to make sure they know what's going off. But it feels like Serral's sniffing something.
He is sniffing something. At the same time, Reynor is working hard to feed Serral the wrong information. And this is one of the ways that an underdog can beat Serral sometimes, right? If Serral's overly defensive, if he thinks that, if he buys it, basically, like, he can get into a little bit of trouble. But we have seen Serral be very resilient against Lambo's Muta play, right? So we'll see if Reynor's is any better. So far, he is really trying to sell it, Reynor, that is. He even makes some roaches. He's shown the Evo Chamber upgrading. He's shown the roach worm wiggling. Serral not buying. How he smelled it? No freaking clue.
No freaking clue whatsoever. Reynor's behind the supply. It may not look like a lot, but remember, that is a lot of extra drones, and Serral's already showing up at his front door. He has the upgrade. In fact, they're both on the same upgrades. A nice concave. Reynor taking as good a fight as he possibly can, though. The Queen's getting sniped down by Serral here.
Yeah, so just like Serral's nose was on point, so was Reynor's. So he's going to completely delay his Spire tech. He's going to kind of just completely ignore it. Now making 3 Muta after the Spire has already been done for a little while. And Serral has to be a little bit confused. I mean, he knows that he has, or that he had to push at some point, but now Reynor kind of has all the advantages. He has the faster 4th base at the gold of all things. Gonna evacuate it here as he sees the roaches transitioning with one of his well-positioned overlords, and now he has Muta, which is gonna grant him further map control after holding the attack of Serral regardless with the roaches. So Serral's gonna see the Muta. You can't really out-execute with a 12 pull that much. Like, Reynor has some of the best micro, he has some of the best multitasking. Now you're putting yourself in a position where you're microing and multitasking 6 Earthlings and then 8. And there's only so much that you can do. You want to hug the hatchery near the ramp, right? So that whatever comes down the ramp is gonna run into a concave of links. That's exactly what Reynor does. But again, a 6K player Zerg can just about do the same thing up until this point. So let's see how Serral reacts. I imagine he's not going to take too much damage. And if you're not really going all in with this, I think he should more often than not find an advantage here. But we'll see what Reynor can do as he sections off just the perfect number of links here so far. So far, so good from Reynor, actually, as Serral does the proper thing as well, and he's going to pull the injured drones. The hatchery is getting dangerously close. As long as Serral can hold this hatchery without losing more than like 4 or 5 drones, he will have done his job. He loses 4. I think that's perfectly fine. We have a 15 worker to 15 worker situation here, with Serral situating a little bit sooner on the natural expansion. So I think all things said and done, Reynor, like, it's a playable game, but it's not what he was looking for, perhaps.
I like everything that Serral's doing here. Like, this is very safe, but he knows he can be in this situation, because this isn't like, oh, I'm being too safe and I'm going to fall behind. Now he gets to poke a little bit and see exactly what's going on. He's getting carapace first. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that signals that he's going to want to do something very aggressive at some point in this game. Maybe even staying on let or hatchery tech, right?
I think he could stay on hatchery tech. I think what he's looking for is maybe a timing onto the third with Ravager Link. So the cool thing about Carapace is that it's going to work for his Zerglings, and he just decided to add extra Zerglings to make it a total of 29 when the next 4 are out, right? So now he's going to be going for Roaches, and probably going to be looking to bank up some gas for Ravagers. If not, just Roach Link will be fine too. So ideally for Serral, Reynor looks to take a third and then just kind of shoots himself in the foot. Seeing as he is already ahead in the third, there should be some pressure for Reynor to kind of equalize in terms of economy. So Serral is, and there is the third. So Serral is looking to hit here pretty hard with that +1 Carapace, because it aids the Zerglings as well. Whereas Reynor is focusing on the Roaches.
Yeah, certainly. Reynor's doing a good job of just kind of saying to himself, all right. My work account's really damn good. He's getting a big scout off here. And Serral, did you see that? Units at the top there. He tried to keep them away. And he's done a decent job so far. He kind of knows where the overlords are scattered about. But
no, Reynor knows.
Yeah, Reynor does know. Look, he started making spine crawlers and stuff as well. But knowing is half the battle, Cats. It's still going to be very hard to hold.
Yeah, I mean, that was the perfect scout for Reynor. He doesn't see any of the units, but he sees the drone count at the natural expansion. With that, that's plenty of information. I mean, just compare the natural expansions here, so that this is a trick that you can do at home, right? Like, oh, okay, that's my natural expansion. What's my opponent's natural expansion look like? And if we look at Serral's natural expansion, we'll find that there's like just no workers there. So, you know that you are ahead in economy, then you just gotta defend. So Reynor was taking a third, or was looking to take a third, had the drone in position there, now decides otherwise. And these links from Serral, they can't really contribute. So it's all about this Ravager's trying to break through. And this is a cool combo, the Ravager link, because the links can get surrounds onto the Roaches, and then the Vials can actually come in handy. So that's the whole concept, the whole idea for Serral. But again, he would much rather be fighting out in the open. He's gonna go in right now, and he's actually gonna buy a few of his links as Reynor nicely repositions, and Serral's gonna get us around into the Roaches, but now he's having to contend with spines as well. And this looks really good for the Italian, who's stuck all the way back. Wow. Serral will have to tap out once again.
I've seen Serral where, he's got his hand in his hair, just muttering away to himself, and I'm like, oh no, don't break. I think there's one thing that I can always have faith in, is the fact that Serral, I've never seen the boy tilted, this is what he does. He plays Starcraft really damn well, and he has done for so long now. So I think, in fact, I feel that both these guys are kind of untiltable in a great way, and it just shows how consistent they are. I mean, Reynor almost did the back-to-back Katowice champion, just stopped by Serral, but still made it to the final, which is beyond consistent. Ooh. Wow, those links arrived very quickly.
Yeah, so really nice there from Serral. Actually, maybe the hatchery was a little bit later than on the side of Serral for Reynor. I'm not sure what details we kind of missed there for that to happen. But yeah, that's really nice for Serral. Really nice of a start. For sure. Yeah, just a tiny advantage there. Also gets the first shot onto the Zerglings on the other side. He's also going to spot the big swell of links, quite honestly, that Reynor's making. So that is very timely, similar to the last overs here. This could be these two links gathering enough information to make Serral hold here, but it is a short rush distance relatively to the third here, and Reynor's already here. He might get the cancel here. I don't know that Serral can stop this, as the banelings are pretty far away. So cancel onto the third to start this game on the side of Reynor. still a heavy commitment onto those Zerglings. 31 workers for Serral to the 27 of Reynor as they both resume working. Yeah, I guess reworkering up. Now it's going to be Reynor with a slightly faster third.
I mean, the tit for tat, I absolutely loved it. It's like, hey, you delayed my hatchery by 10 seconds. I'm going to go and kill yours. And it's like, wow, yeah, that worked out way better than I anticipated it to do for Reynor. And Reynor's just in the driving seat all over again. I'm not sure exactly what's happened, but Serral, from being 17-0 before this match, now his first 2 map losses are to this young man. And Reynor, like, any doubt is that he had in the group stage, losing to Spirit or the Soul Spirit, they have to be silenced at this point because he's playing so damn good.
Oh, for sure. Again, like those games, I really wouldn't read too much into them, because if you watch them, you can see that Reynor is a little bit of a cocky boy, you know? Like he can be a little bit of a like, I'm just that much better than you type person. And that's how those games felt. And, you know, like sometimes you take disadvantages, sometimes you play overly safe, like I think he did against Soul Spirit. And at the highest level of play, at the level of play that we can see from any player that is in this DreamHack Masters, you can definitely exploit players who are too safe. And that's why maybe we're seeing Serral kind of take this different approach against Reynor, where he is actively taking risks and he is actively trying to apply the pressure. This time, it's Reynor who takes on the hat that he usually wears. His you know, the sorting hat has told him that he is a little bit of a slithering, and that is exactly what we see here, Benny.
I knew you'd go back there. Anyhow, we do see that it isn't a super commitment. He's actually trying to fake Serral out. So if Serral makes the correct call, yes, he started canceling those spines. He keeps one producing, but it's the one that had more time to be producing. So he has more time to cancel it, if that makes sense. And Serral resumes his lair. He did cancel it because he took it very seriously from Reynor, as he should. And yes, cancel that other one too. So both, again, making very good reads about one another. The Sobolov gets to see that there is a lot of drones at that third base as well. And this is some fiery play between these two.
It is fiery indeed, as both players are going to transition into the mid-stage of this game. It's going to be pretty standard stuff in this CVC, Roach versus Roach for the time being. So nothing bound to be too, you know, super exciting or particularly brilliant, I think, from this point on, up until we see a deviation or the actual tactical moves to pull their opponents apart, or if we start seeing Roach Burrow or something like that. Roaches just kind of bump heads into each other a lot of the time. So let's see. More interesting are to me these links. Reynor's actually going to find a little bit of room here to try and apply pressure onto the fourth base of Serral. That's good information for him to take, and he will take that cue to take his own fourth as well.
Yeah, drone count has been a little bit of a lead for Serral here. He did hit his +1 missile weapons a little bit faster than his opponent as well. But Reynor's the one that's just been busting out a little bit of a supply lead here. And it is because he's got a lot of roaches already on the map. And that, to me, starts spelling out that he wants to be aggressive pretty damn soon. His fourth base, a tiny bit later than his opponent as well. But again, that roach count, can't be refuted. It's quite a bit bigger. And his roach speed will finish a little bit sooner than Serral as well. So Serral has to be careful.
Yeah, and Serral just went out on the map, just kind of trying to force out roaches while he is doing a mix of roach and droning still. Like, you don't want to be forcing out more roaches, because that's all Reynor has been doing really for a little bit, and he's doing a great job of hiding it. So Reynor, like you said, Benny, looking to hit a very strong timing. He is not giving any information away to Serral. Serral does have Overlord speed, and he will hover over a lot of the roaches. That will proc the attack from Reynor. He's like, oh, you spotted me? I'm coming. Serral cancels his Hydra then instantly, because he knows that he needs every little bit of resources that he can get to try and hold this. The Ravagers are a little bit late to the fight. The Corrosive Vials need to be good. The spread is good from Serral, but it's bigger from Reynor. He just has more units here. We might have a 3-1, but in the direction that you may not expect, as the Ravagers are kind of exposed. Reynor knows that, and he's gonna leap onto them and now past the army of Serral. Serral is not looking good for this hold, Benny. It's looking terrible, in fact.
Oh, he's committed too much to Tekken. He had no idea what was going on from Reynor. He's feeling it, man. He's bouncing, he's jamming. He knows he's moving on here to the winner bracket final. And GG. He